Greetings and peace, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this evening. I would like to start tonight's talk with an invocation and a blessing from God with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. So tonight, for this evening, I am so honored and privileged to be joined by my brother, not just in Islam, but in Freemasonry, Brother Mohammad AlJumaili, who has led such a fascinating life from Iraq, from coming here and joining Freemasonry and finding his equilibrium in the American dream, in the American life, and how all of these different influences, including his faith, the fraternity, aspects of the war, his family, everything made him into the individual he is today. So I would like our brother to introduce himself and please tell the world your story and what we can learn from you, my brother. And please take all the time you need.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. We start with peace upon Prophet Muhammad and all his family. Uh, Starting with my story. Wow, I don't know where to begin. Um, so I'm originally from Iraq. I was born and raised in a city called Fallujah. Fallujah is a small city, but it has a lot of mosques. And we grow up on summer schools, go to mosque, and we do a lot of learning at the mosques. Um, so my story starts in 2006 on Friday during Friday prayer. I was sitting outside my house in Fallujah, and suddenly we saw about 6 Humvees of a U.S. Army vehicles stuck by our house. They said hi and they took pictures with us, shared candy with my cousins and I, and they were about to leave. And after a couple minutes, a car bomb drove right into our house, exploded, killed my 7-year-old cousin, and all my family were injured. The house collapsed on us. So after that, I went to Syria for medical treatment with my dad, and then I came back to Iraq and was threatened by Al Qaeda again because my dad he was a police chief in Fallujah. So we applied for asylum in America. We moved to America in 2007. That's a year after my accident. And here in Shriners Hospital of Philadelphia. And after 6 months, I went back to Iraq. I started working as a security guard.
Oh no, this is not good.
I was given the death threat by Al Qaeda with my mom because we went to America in 2007. They said we are infidels and we shouldn't have any relation with Americans and we shouldn't get any medical treatments. I was a kid. Pay attention. I was a kid. I was only 12 years old. I had nothing to do with politics. I had nothing to do with, fighting against anyone. I was just a kid trying to get help and get my life saved. And my mom trying to do her best to get her son a future back. Without making this long, I was able to escape to the CNN news in Baghdad, to the Green Zone, and show them all the evidence that I was threatened by Al Qaeda. They contacted the Global Medical Relief Fund. It's an organization here in New York, and they were able to issue us visa to come back to the United States for the second time. And that's when I moved here, and I've been here since then. I'm glad I am an American now. I'm a U.S. citizen and hold a U.S. citizen, a U.S. passport, and I'm living the dream. So that's my story, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And how has this basically aspects of surviving this war, becoming a Freemason, your time in the Eagle Scouts, your time going through the different education system, how has it strengthened your faith, not just as a Muslim, but as a Mason and as an overall human being on who you were at that time when that attack happened on you and your family up until this point, who you are now?
Growing up in Iraq, in a country with war and many conflicts between Sunni, Shia, and all other civil wars that we had, it was hard for us to find opportunities to do anything. Hard for me to go to school, hard for my mom to continue teaching, hard for my family to survive. When I moved to America, everything was opened, everything was welcomed. So I tried to do everything. I joined robotics, Boy Scout, a lot of sports team like wrestling, soccer, and so forth. I did almost everything my school offered me. I was very active. When I look at my wall right now and I see all the achievement, I'm like, wow, how did I find all this time to do all that? Enough talk about myself. But as you said, the faith that I had from all my experience is that when you see an opportunity, take it. Even if you are living in America in a country where it has everything open for you, take it. Don't be like just sitting home playing video games or on Facebook or do any social media stuff. No, go out, be active. I know right now we are handling the pandemic and all, but it's still like you try to be active. The more active you are, the more good inside yourself you will find.
Yes.
Exercise, go to gym, find some friends, talk to them, read books. That's what I like to do here nowadays, reading books, continue my education at Rosemont College. I continue my Freemason activities, other scouting activities, campings, things like that. That will keep me first out of trouble. Second, that will keep me active and keep me motivated to do more things and give back to my community as well.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. In life, we always get out what we put into it, and that's including in all aspects of our faith, our fraternity, and different aspects of the life that puts us in those positions. Which I would also like to ask you, for Americans that are trying to understand Muslim people and also to address the aspects of basically positive changes in the Masonic Brotherhood, positive changes in the way Americans view Muslims. How can you address those subjects from your experience and views?
I had good experience and bad experience relating to that subject.
Mm-hmm.
Good, I will start with the positive aspect of being a Muslim and a Freemason. Wherever I go and I say I'm a Muslim, and at the same time I say I'm a Freemason and I show my tattoo or like any kind of symbol on related to Freemasonry, people will be like surprised. Oh wow, that's amazing. How could you be both? I'm like, this is not a religion. Freemason is not a religion. Islam is. Islam is my religion. I was born Muslim, but I decided to become a Freemason.
Mm.
Freemason is not a religion, and a lot of people don't understand that. The bad thing about Freemasonry is within the Freemasonry, there are some kind of discrimination, either in lodge or any Masonic activities I've been part of, with being a Muslim. There are certain things when I do it, it's either I get bad comments. Oh, you are Muslim. Why you do this? You are Muslim. Your name is Muhammad. So some brothers, I understand they try to, be funny and, joke about things, but that hurts my feeling from the inside. If you understand what I'm saying, brother,
Yes,
it
yes.
really have some kind of bad or negative uh, effect to my spirit inside. Because when I go home and sleep at night, and I'm like, why they treat me that way? I'm a Muslim, okay, that's fine, but we are all the same, especially in America, in this country. This is a land of freedom. We can be atheists, we can be Muslims, we can be anything, and still continue and do what we do.
Yeah, thank you for addressing that, which goes to show that some people don't practice what they preach. And basically, true Freemasons in modern society are like finding needles in a haystack. And Brother Muhammad is one of those true Freemasons. He's not just a Freemason by title, but by his heart, his deed, his actions, and everything that he has done to represent the true Islam, true Freemasonry, the true American dream, and why those that are born into this country might not as cherish its values as much as the one who has struggled and fought to come here and realize its true worth. Which I would also like to ask you, Brother Mohammed, is what message would you give to future generation of Freemasons, future Americans, future Muslims? It's, let's say like today was the last day of your life. What message would you give to all of the Ummah and all of the brotherhood? And please give your honest answer.
Yes, brother. My message to the next generation of Freemasonry is to be yourself. Don't listen to others. Don't hear things on the news or social media and judge people based on what you hear and what you are taught. Learn yourself, read books, understand life, and lead by example. Freemasonry is making good men better. So be yourself, understand people in front of you, and before you judge, think, and before you say anything, make sure the person in front of you is not going to get hurt. It's not only about, Muslim brothers. Doesn't,
Yes.
have to be a group. It goes for everybody. If you see anybody from any ethnicity, any background, do the same to them. Make them feel they are the same. Don't put any judgment based on names, religion, beliefs, and background.
Yes, yes, I agree absolutely. And I thank you for that. And I would also like to ask
And
you,
brother, I would like to say how I became a Freemason because that's
yes,
important.
please, please.
When I was a kid, in Iraq, we have this short novels, and we read a lot. And those novels were made by Ba'ath Party, Saddam Hussein administration. They
Mm-hmm.
approve these type of books because they have messages that will kind of, I don't want to say brainwash, but they want to show Iraqis the outside world
Mm.
by those short novels. Those short novels always talk about three evil. That's what it says. The title, three evils: Illuminati, Zionism, and America. These are three things that these novels always mention during Saddam Hussein time. So as I grow up, I want to understand all these three. I came to America. I was introduced to an American father who was Jewish. Also, he was a Freemason. That person changed my life forever. I was only 14 years old when I met Bernie, and we were sitting at his house at a table, and he was talking about Shriners Hospital, and I mentioned that I'm from Iraq. So he said, "Oh, there is a kid from Shriners Hospital." So he started telling me my story without knowing that it was me. When I told him I am the person that you are sharing the story, he started tearing. And from that day, there's a big connection, me and Bernie. And because of him, I was introduced to Freemasonry. And that's where it comes to the third point. Understanding Freemasonry is completely different than what we were taught when we are young, because we were told Illuminati and Freemasonry are the same and they are doing evil stuff to the world, and they have like the New World Order and all that conspiracies about Freemasonry. So when I joined the Freemasonry, that's why I said to the next generation, don't judge before you have some knowledge. So go read, look at outside sources before you judge people, before you judge an organization, before you judge a team or a government or a religion. Go do some research about Islam. Learn who are Islams. Learn what are the teachings of the Quran before you say bad things about us, before you say about the 72 virgins that we will marry in heaven. That's nonsense. I don't know who made that up, but there's a lot of things that they say, oh, yes, it's mentioned in the Quran, go read your holy book. I said, what? I read my holy book every year, all the time. I don't hear anything of like chopping people's heads off, terror stuff. I'm like, where did you bring that up from? Oh, because we learned it in religion class. I don't know who taught you religion class, but I'm very sure he did not read the Holy Quran. Go read it yourself. Show me the verses that mention those things, because that's the opposite. That's what they try to brainwash you. Because
Yeah.
they try to do that to us in Iraq. They try to tell us who are all Americans are bad. And now I'm an American. I consider myself American, and we are not bad. We are good people. We have humanity. We try to go and help others, and we help each other here in the community as well.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, thank you for
That's how I
sharing
joined.
that.
I
I,
joined the Freemason to understand the group, to understand Freemasonry itself, and what do they do to the communities. Why do they have 22 hospitals, Shriners hospitals? Why they help kids without any returns? They didn't take money from me or my mom. Why do they do that? So that was the question, and that's the reason I joined the Freemasonry.
yeah, and through Freemasonry, I met you because of the brotherhood. So I'm thankful to the Masonic Brotherhood that I was able to meet my brother Muhammad. So that's the beauty of this fraternity is you make these lifelong friendships and you have good men that become your friends, your brothers. And also what our brother is teaching us is that anything that you see, don't take it at face value. Do your research, do the proper information, find out what's what, and realize good and bad exist in all races, religions, and groups in the world. Don't just paint everyone with a broad brush because of the actions of a few. You have all five fingers that are not the same size. So our brother is teaching us to have discretion and do the right thing, which I would also like brother Muhammad to continue to explain to us any challenges and how he overcame them being a Muslim American immigrant from Iraq here in America and how he overcame them and how he became stronger in his ordeals.
There's a lot of challenges that I faced. First, in high school, I had to change or switch 3 high schools because of the racism I faced. Uh, I was called Osama bin Laden in high school because of based on my name and where I came from and my
Mm,
accent. There were a lot of others, like my language was also a barrier. But as I grow up, I continue to see that here, and I try to do my best. I go to churches, I go to synagogue, I meet with others through Freemasonry or Boy Scout, and try to change that uh, thinking about Islam. Try to tell people we are good people, and whatever you are hearing is. I'm not defending the religion. I'm only saying the truth. I'm saying who I am. The teaching I was taught when I was young, and one thing I want to mention. One time I was at Walmart with my mother,
mm-hmm.
and the cop, he was yelling at my mom, and I have no idea why he was yelling at my mom. So I went and said, "Officer, why are you yelling at my mom? She was sitting in the passenger seat. She's not the driver." He said, "Yes, she is not supposed to park here." I said, "Okay." She didn't park. I parked, and I went to get her the motorized wheelchair, the ones at Walmart they have because my mom is handicapped. And he was yelling at my. He continued to yell at my mom. Long story short, he put me into arrest for 2 hours just because I talked back to him. And after that, we found out he was, one of those racist cops. When I went and I, called the police chief, I'm a certified armed agent, so I have some connections with the local law enforcement. They send me a letter home. They apologize and they say this shouldn't happen. So see, there's good and there's bad. There's individuals that are good, or sorry, they are bad, but they don't represent all my local law enforcement. I
Yeah.
still continue to support them. I work with them almost every day. So this one person, he didn't make me think differently about cops.
Mm,
So that's one thing I want to share to the American young generation. Don't take one thing because of all the things that's going on right now. Don't take one person as an example because there are so many good things about the the country we live in. We need to be thankful that we are in Americans. There
Yes.
are so many things in Iraq people can't do, and I'm very sure the same thing in Pakistan. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many things we are unable to to do, like education, freedom of speech. Uh, I'm gonna make this long, but one thing I want to mention about my last trip to Iraq. I went to get my Iraqi citizenship so I can use it here for some education purposes,
Yes.
and they told me I can't because I need my mom to come and sign. I said I'm over 18. It wasn't about my mom. They needed money. Everything in Iraq right now is rashwa, bribe. You give them money, they make things work for you. You don't give them money, and as you know, brother, that's in my religion, in Islam, haram. We can't do that.
Yes.
So I don't know what to do. So I just went and I say, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil, which means I put all my uh, challenges to Allah to help me. And they were very upset. The officer, he was very upset. He put me into arrest. He arrested me for hours, and my wife, she was waiting outside. They told me I have to give them chop my head off because that's how things are in Iraq.
Muhammad, your connection was breaking. Please talk about what happened when the man arrested you in Iraq. So retract.
Okay, so it's basically similar story to Khashoggi,
Mm-hmm.
the journalist in Turkey, where they took them inside the embassy and he disappeared.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
did the same thing to me. And my wife, she was waiting outside. They took me to a dark room for hours, and I didn't know what was going on. Only because I said, I mentioned God. Just because I said God is the person that will judge who's right and who's wrong, because the officer didn't want to help me to get my Iraqi citizenship. So
Yes.
things like that happens in our country. People don't understand how much uh, good things God gave them in this country. They don't appreciate that. So I want my message to be to the young generation of Americans to be thankful, to always look at the good things they have here and be thankful.
Yes, my brother, and you are absolutely right. Just you saying that to him forced them to put you in that kind of position. And it just goes to show the difference in the different societies that we live in, including most people don't know about Islam, is that it tells you to respect the laws and customs of the countries you live in. So whether you're living in America or anywhere else, a Muslim is always a good citizen. And you are a perfect example of that, my brother, of what a true Freemason is, what a true Muslim is, and what a just a true great man is in terms of what you do for not just your family, but for your community, for your faith, for your fraternity. And it's because of people like you that our world is going to head into the next generation. And please, anything that you would like to share with the whole world is watching you. Whatever you would like to share with not just Freemasonry, but all of humanity.
Well, I want to thank you first for having me today. And earlier today, we had an excellent lunch together, and I was always want to do that with you, brother Salman. You are someone that I always look into, like my big brother.
Thank you.
Um, One thing I want to share with everybody
Please.
is just do everything you could to help others, because we are here as visitors in this earth. We
Hmm.
are here to help each other. The world without the help is nothing. If we keep fighting, if we keep doing all these conflicts and running behind power, money, and everything, this is not good. We need people to be diplomatic, to solve problems. We need people to look at the global issues like climate change. We need to find people to find peace. Look at Afghanistan right now and what's going on. It's sad. It's very sad. My heart breaks every single day when I look at the news. I try not to look at news, but it's hard not to look at the news, brother. It's hard not to see and feel what's going on. in Afghanistan at the airport. People tried to flee to survive because I went through this myself with my mom. We tried to escape Iraq in 2008 when Al Qaeda tried to target us. Same thing, same situation with people in Afghanistan, the Taliban trying to go after them, or Al Qaeda, or wherever the names are. It's not just people who had anything to do with politics. It's civilians, kids. We saw like at the bombings, how many kids were injured or killed at that bombings. I want that to stop, and that's what I want to share with people. We need to wake up. It's time to wake up to find peace. We need to fight and find peace. First, we start with ourselves, and then we continue it with others.
Yes, my brother, absolutely right. And I'm grateful. And how do you see the world going within these next 5 to 10 years? And how can we as human beings, especially now, it's so much chaos going on. How can one be able to get through this time and keep their focus?
First, brother, I have faith and I have hope that this
Mm,
world will be a better place for the next generation. I want the next generation, or I don't want, I wish, I pray every day to Allah so that the next generation will be better than us, better than our fathers, to build a good future for themselves and for the next generation that will come after them. A generation will not build weapons and equipments to fight. They will build a schools, education systems to find peace and to have love and to have a good system, governmental system all around the world, that we will be one people. It is hard, but that's my dream. I just wish one day that everybody comes along. Martin Luther King, he always had a dream about everybody all black and white will sit on one table. My dream is that not just white and black. My dream is everybody, every religion will come and sit in one table and find peace.
thank you, brother. And that's exactly what Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, for everyone to become one ummah. And it says that in Holy Quran, Surah 2, verse 62, that no matter what path you follow, as long as you believe in God and do the right thing, then you shall have no grief on the day of judgment. Same in Surah 49, that the believers are but one brotherhood. Same thing with what our Prophet says, one ummah. So what you're saying is already our faith is teaching us to follow that. And you are
Yes,
exemplifying that in your life and the way that you're carrying yourself, not just defending Islam, but defending Freemasonry, defending the American values. And you've been put in all of these different venues to carry yourself the way that you do. And I thank you. I thank you for everything, for who you are, the type of life that you're continuing to lead, and anything else that you would like to share, my brother. The floor is yours.
thank you, brother. No, I want to say you are an amazing person, and I'm so glad that I have you in my life. And I
Thank you.
call you a brother because you are a true inspiration, brother Salman. I mean, your messages, your videos and speeches about life, Sufism, Freemasonry, really makes me think about the world a different way. Kind of like when I watch your videos, it takes me a whole different, world, and it's a peaceful world. And I wish, and that's what I want to go back to. I wish that we will have a future like you are describing in your videos, a future where all we find is peace. We don't worry about, the wars or power, money, all politics. No, we worried about is how to help each other and how to live in love and peace.
Oh, yes, my brother. I hope in my lifetime I can see that future. And of course, with you also by my side of brotherhood, that we continue to fight and envision for that future. So I thank you very much, Brother Mohammed, for giving us your time this evening. And I hope whoever listens to this is able to be inspired by our brother's message. So good night from me and good night. I'll let
Good
Brother
night, brother.
Mohammed say his good nights.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Assalamu
brother.
alaikum.
Walaikum
Thank you.
salam.